Is it that time?
It's new product time.
All right.
Okay, let's do this right away. Okay, speaking of
new,
Raspberry
new,
Pi
new.
stuff.
This is the Hi-Fi Berry Pi hat. So this is the DAC Plus. It's kind of it's a hat that uses I2S, it's digital audio out of your Pi, and you basically just do a little bit of typing to load it up an overlay. I think or maybe the EEPROM is automatically loaded. Basically, it gives you very high percent. I think it's 24-bit audio, like 88 kilohertz, whatever. It's like or whatever 192-bit, whatever it is, the highest of the highest. It is like one of the nicest DAC. I think it's a burr brown DAC. You can even see it got split ground, and it gives you RCA output. You can also solder in an audio jack. Basically, if you want to connect your Pi to like a stereo system, or like you want to have it like play music or effects, but you just want it to be very high quality.
Yeah.
This hat is a very convenient way to do so.
Okay.
Works with the Pi 2, B+, 0, all of the Pis you know and love. Won't work with the Raspberry Pi 1 because it has the longer connector.
Okay. All right. Next up, I think we're dubbing this the Goldilocks battery.
This is what Phil B calls the Goldilocks battery. So let me.
And I assume because the battery's just right.
It's just right.
It's just right.
So we've had historically 500 milliamp hour battery. Let me zoom in a little bit. This is a 500 milliamp hour battery. You can see written on here. And this is a 150 milliamp hour battery. And you can see this one's like really cute and small, and it's like this one is like really big, and it's also a lot thicker. So this one's really small and skinny and square. And Phil B was doing a lot of projects where he's like, well, I want to be able to fit it into like a bottle or an enclosure, and I just need something that's a little bit more than 150, because 150 is not that much, but I don't need it as big as the 500. And so, ta-da, the Goldilocks. It's a battery that is the same width as the 150, so you can see it's got the same width as the 150, so it can slide into the same enclosure sizes, but it's the length and thickness of the 150. So it's basically like right now I got 150, 350, and 500. So a nice little, this is twice as much, and this is another like 2 times the size. This is like 3 times the size of this battery. So now you have something in the middle. I was cool with it. We want to do a couple projects, and he's like, I really want a battery that's twice as much as this.
Okay. Can you boost any of them to 5 volts?
Yep. You can use our Power Boost 500 with any of them, and they'll work just fine. They'll boost up the battery. Yeah. It won't. You won't last as long because when you lose the milliamp hour capacity, it'll be halved, approximately. But you can absolutely boost them to 5 volts. Just use a Power Boost or similar. Or you can use a LDO, a low dropout regulator, to get down to 3.3 volts. A lot of our stuff uses 3.3s. That's why we like light polys. So now we have another light poly.
Okay. Next up, SD card with something on it.
It's Jessie Lite. This is an SD card, a 4 gigabyte SD card with Jessie Lite, which is a pared down version of Raspberry and Jessie. If you have a Raspberry Pi, and you've noticed that Jessie is kind of big. I mean, it's got like Minecraft and like Wolfram and like Mathematica, and it's like X11 and Medora. It's got everything. I mean, it's got like a lot of stuff on it, and so it's about 5 gigs. And so a lot of people may already have 4 gig cards kicking around, or maybe even 2 gig cards. The version of Jessie Lite fits on a 2 gig card or larger. We stuck it on 4 gig because honestly, 2 gig and 4 gig cards cost about the same amount.
Yeah.
Pick up a copy if you like.
Okay. Next up.
Really good for headless setups because you don't lose all that space to X11.
We got keyboards.
Oh yeah, this is a nice keyboard.
Yeah, these are super cool.
These are keyboards. We carry the little mini version. Actually, you know what? I think
What do you want to do?
Hold on. I might have one.
I do. Yeah, we have these keyboards because we have all these like little Linux computers.
I know. So can you go to the overhead?
Yeah.
The front.
Oh.
Okay, fine. So we have this little.
That's good. We'll go to what you said. Yeah.
So we have this little keyboard, and this is like really like a palm keyboard. It's got these little like mini keys, and then there's a trackpad here with left and right buttons. But this is like really small, and it's not. You can kind of thumb type, but you can't. It's not like finger type. It's really hard to do so. This keyboard, it's not like full size, but it's like larger size. It's still smallish, and it's very thin, and it's made by the same company, and so like these are really good, and these are really, really good. So this uses a wireless protocol, and it uses a USB dongle, which tucks into here. And so you only need one USB port. So it makes it really good for like a single board computer like a BeagleBone or Raspberry Pi or whatever, where you only have one USB port, because it adds keyboard and mouse. And you get a really nice big trackpad, and then you can have buttons by clicking either one finger for left or 2 fingers for right, and automatically detects that you pressed with 2 fingers, and it does a right click. And you get like a keyboard, and you get the function keys and the number keys, and like basically up, down, left, right. So you get kind of everything, which is nice, and it's like in the format that you can actually type with. So this is a nice upgrade to this, and it works with pretty much every computer. We used it with a Pi, and it works great. You can use it with other stuff. It comes with a charging cable, and it has a built-in battery, which is in here, and it's a really, really well put together little keyboard. I like it.
Okay. Moving right along.
With trackpad.
We now have some more LED strips here, and it is NeoPixel. So this is just them off, which is not so interesting.
That's on, and this is a really good gift. So let's just stick with this one. So this is these are NeoPixel RGBW. So we've had a couple. We've had the bare LEDs. Now we have them in strip. So these are they're just like NeoPixels that you know and love, except instead of having red, green, blue, they have red, green, blue, white. So they actually have a 4th LED in the package, and so you have to make sure your library is updated to support it. We have the Adafruit NeoPixel library definitely supports RGBW, because you just put W in when you make the object, and it will use you can select the white channel. Otherwise, it'll look really weird because it'll alternate the pixels because it doesn't know that it's 4 bytes per pixel. But because there's a true white pixel in it, you get really good white light. If you want to have a lighting effect that's white, you can tint the white with color, but it's really good if you want to have white pixels, because RGBW never gets you good color reproducibility. It's always kind of like a bluish, and you can kind of see that it's made of 3 colors mixed together. The white is a much more pure white color. So we have it in 30. And
yeah. Do you want to skip to the other animated graphics?
That's 144. So this just shows the RGB, and then we have a little white strip going through to show that the white is very white. And then
Then we have this one.
Sorry, that was the 60, and this is the 144.
Yeah.
So 144, it's like almost completely solid color. Like I can't even tell. There's so many pixels. And they have a white flex PCB, and they're just like NeoPixels, but you get more. They're a little bit more expensive because the LEDs have more going on. And then can you click on the picture right before this one?
Yeah. You want to show the density?
Yeah. Can you zoom in to? Oh no, go on.
Yeah.
Can you zoom into this?
Oh yeah.
Because I want to show the individual LEDs, because it's hard to show on the overhead, but this picture's really
Okay.
high quality. Zoom.
Woo.
Enhance. So you can see that the NeoPixel's kind of got this little diffuse look to it. Well, it's partially because there's the silicone cover, but it actually is a little bit more diffuse. And then on the bottom, there's that yellow half circle. That's the yellow LED that, the yellow phosphor for the white LEDs. So you've got the RGB up top, and then separately you have the quarter of the LED is this yellow phosphor, but it mixes very well so that when you actually display it, doesn't look like it's a half moon. It actually just looks like it's kind of coming out of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then I can show it live as well on the overhead. I've got it
All right.
displaying. Hold on. So we've got red, and then it switches to green, and then blue, and then white. And it's kind of like a neutral white. It's not really cold, it's not really warm. It's kind of right in the middle there. We didn't want to carry like every single color, so we thought, well, we'll just go with this. But it's a nice white color. You can use it for lighting. It's not a cold white, but it's also not like an incandescent white either. It's kind of like right in the middle. So
Yeah.
there you go. You get RGBW, and it works great. Just remember, it uses 30% more power because it has 80 milliamps per LED max. So you have 4 diodes, not 3.
Okay.
So you watch power.
I'm gonna jump to a question since we're here on this right now. What's the difference between this and the dot star?
NeoPixels are a little bit easier to, well, there's more code available for NeoPixels. They only use 1 pin instead of 2 pin, which means you have to have very precise timing. So some processors can't run NeoPixels, but these days pretty much everybody's figured out a way to get NeoPixels working on it. So so that's good. You only need 1 pin to do it. And dot stars don't exist with this RGBW configuration yet. They only do RGB. So the NeoPixel protocol is those are the ones you can get with the RGBW full white sub-pixel. Other than that, like the NeoPixels have a slightly slower refresh rate. So if you want to do light painting like we showed earlier, dot stars are better because they have higher frequency PWM. You don't get as much dithering, although these are actually SK brand. They're not so bad. You can barely tell that there is the PWM effect. They are a little bit faster than the 400 hertz of the original World Semi NeoPixels.
Okay. Wow. Good answer. All right. And then next up, the star of the show besides you tonight is the OLED Featherwing.
Yay! It is the code Featherwing. It is a Featherwing. We're continuing to have more feather accessories. We had the Proto Featherwing last week. This week we have the OLED Featherwing. This adds a slim little OLED to your feather. It works with any of the feathers, the Huzzah, the 32U4, the M0, the Blue Fruit, the Edelogger, all of them. It uses I2C to display text or graphics, 32 by 128 pixels of monochrome LED. It's very high contrast. It'll work in a lot of different lighting conditions. It doesn't use a lot of power because OLEDs don't have a backlight, which is really nice. They refresh pretty fast. We have a great library that's really well established, like works awesome. And then we had extra space. We put 3 buttons for like a little menu control system. So you have A, B, C buttons that you can use to activate different things on your feather board. So we're trying to add little add-ons for the feather wings that you can stack on like shields. These wings stack on top, and so you can do some activity. So I can show this on the overhead.
Yeah, let's go to the overhead. And
turn that off.
I'll talk about a question that came up.
No, can you zoom in?
Yeah. So right now it's one of the busiest weeks of the year, and we also so Lady Ada occasionally comes up, and I say occasionally isn't like all the time. She comes up with some hits, and the feather's a hit, and it's super popular.
We're making more.
Yeah.
They sold out very fast, and the way we do manufacturing here, we do it the same way, where we don't manufacture 5,000 of something and ship them all out. Which has caused other people problems. We haven't had a problem because we don't do that. What we do is we make our first run of 250. And
small batch
artisanal. Yeah. And then we listen to make sure that because there's some people had an issue with the M0 bootloader. I wanted to make sure that got resolved. Turns out it was a simple driver thing. But we don't want to send out thousands of boards that might have an issue, especially new designs are susceptible to, you never know, something could have changed. And so we don't do large batches, but the next batch will be larger. So they will come back in stock. Don't worry. We know them. They're popular.
Yeah.
I think tomorrow and Friday is we're going to be manufacturing. So maybe in a week or two we'll have more. We're on it. Just sign up.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to show this thing?
Yeah. So I have this stacked on top of a Feather Huzzah. So it's an ESP8266, and it's running off of LiPo. I can run it off of our 350 milliamp hour LiPo just to show that it is Goldilocks quality. Okay, so plug that in. And then the feather wing, you solder headers on? Oh, sorry. Sorry. You just plug in the feather wing.
So that's a Huzzah feather.
It's a Huzzah feather, and I can just show you can just graphics, so it comes up with a little splash screen for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then there's these buttons. They don't do anything because I kind of didn't make them do anything. But there's ABC buttons. And then you can see it's connecting to Adafruit, and it's sending out a value. So you can fit 4 lines of text, and it looks like about, let's see, it's 6 pixels wide.
So that could send stuff to Adafruit.io.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it can also tell you, or you can have data come from Adafruit.io. Like it's kind of designed to be very easy to integrate. But you can use this with any of the feathers. It doesn't work with just this one. It uses I2C, and since the I2C pins over here are the same on all the feathers, this works on all of them. So that's very cross-platform. So instead of, it's designed ahead of time to work with all of them. So you can fit like 4 by, let's see, 128 by 20, 4 by 20 characters of text, and it's fairly low power. And then there's also a reset button if you want to reset the board. So we'll do projects with this, but people were like, oh, I want a little display, and like, this is basically the slimmest display you can fit on a little breadboard like this.
My prediction is by the end of 2016, Feather is going to be one of the most common boards for prototypers, makers, engineers, people who like this form factor, like all the stuff it can do.
Yeah.
And also the cost the price is great.
Here's it with a doubler. This is one of the photos.
I like the doubler.
Yeah, the doubler's fun because it's like if you don't want to have, like this one has stacking headers on it. So I put long headers on it, but this one you don't have to. You just have this kind of prototyping side-by-side action, and then you can do the same thing.
And like you can have like Bluetooth, you can have Wi-Fi, you can like all this stuff.
And we're gonna come out with more feathers. This is just running the graphics demo. Although I think I forgot to put a delay in it, so it's gonna crash.
Yeah.
It's watchdog timer. That's exactly how long watchdog timer lasts before it crashes. It's fixed in the committed code on GitHub. But yeah, you can do lines and graphics and text and all that good stuff. And connect over Wi-Fi or whatever. But we'll have more feather wings coming out. Yeah. Next up, we have a motor driver, and we have a PWM servo driver, and then we have like real-time clock and
Phone a Feather.
Phone a Feather is. I'm waiting for those micro SIM card holders coming in.
Yeah.
There was like a minimum order quantity of 5,000. I'm like, I'm not ready to do 5,000. So I found a place to sell me 1,000 holders, and so we're gonna rock that out. But so this is the feather wing for tonight. It's adorable.
Okay. All right. And with that, Lady Ada is New Products.
Yay!
You did it. You did it.